Feminists of the modern age have lost all sense of logic and reason. Case in point, Alabama. Representative Rolanda Hollis sponsored a bill to have mandatory vasectomies for men who have had a third child that they will pay for themselves. This is in response to all the restrictions on women's health care and abortion rights. All of this to stop abortions rather than just not having abortions. This would be an excellent way to initiate population control. It was a way to get rid of undesired races that Margaret Sanger compared to weeds. In reality, she is just doing this for show, but she is forgetting that forced sterilization is how the abortion movement started. So basically, those who support abortion are going right back to where they started. They are just missing their hoods. While the pro-abortion crowd is busy sterilizing people and killing as many children as they can, the pro-life crowd is fighting to save children that survive abortions. We keep hearing that the child is not a child until he is outside the womb, then the child is a separate person. This did not stop Northam from arguing that the child could still be killed.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
The Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act essentially says that if a child is born after a botched abortion, you cannot kill him. Yet many are still killed by either being left without care or placed in a bucket of water. You would think that all of the Democrats who have been arguing about the personhood by birth would be supporting this bill, but they are not. The reason is quite simple. They realize that this is a step towards recognizing humanity. If they do this, it will be harder to justify killing the child earlier in his life. If someone takes your child away, it is called kidnapping. If the government does it, it is called sympathy. The Journal of Medical Ethics suggested that transgender children be taken away from parents if they will not choose transition therapy. I have many words for the writers, but none are fit for online discourse. We already had a little boy in Texas that had to wait on a judge to decide whether he would stay with his mom, who forced him to be a girl, or his dad, who let him be a boy. Over in the UK, a father was forced to use preferred pronouns for his transgender child. Statistically speaking, children have a higher rate of suicide once the transition is complete, and most grow out of it as time goes on. Apparently, if you want to cut off your maleness, you are perfectly fine and the state needs to intervene to protect you. At least there are not people who pour drain cleaner in their eyes just because they want to be blind. Oh wait! What's this? Well, there are not any people who want to have surgery to become paraplegic. Oh wait! What's this? Both of these people are mentally ill, and if a parent elected to let a child do either of these things, they would be arrested for child abuse. Yet, if you want to mutilate and permanently alter your sex organs, the government must intervene. With comedians like Bill Maher hoping for a recession just to make President Trump look bad.
I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point. And by the way, I'm hoping for it because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. Yeah. So please bring on the recession. Yeah. Isn't the Fed cutting rates now just going to make the next economic downturn worse? What's your prediction? I've been hoping for a recession. People hate me for it, but it would get rid of Trump, so you shouldn't hate me for it.
It is hard to believe that liberals are now seeing how successful the economy is now. All of the tax cuts and loosened regulations are making it a lot easier to do business. If it is easier to do business, businesses will hire more people. If more people are hired, more people will have jobs. Yet tell me more about how Obama's army of lawyers and bureaucrats made it easier to get a job. It is not just jobs. More people are getting off of welfare than ever before. America's longest war may be closer to ending than ever before. Both Defense Secretary Esper and Secretary of State Pompeo are simultaneously hesitant and excited about this deal. Peace talks with the leaders in the region, as well as diplomats, will proceed as long as the Taliban uses no violence for the next few days. The agreement also mandates that the Taliban release al-Qaeda operators to answer for their crimes. If they follow through, the peace agreement is expected to be signed. We went in to deal with the terrorists that engineered 9/11, and they are dead. Many of the attacks are terrorists trying to kill the U.S. for bombing their country with civilians caught in the crossfire. If we leave, that country will either destroy itself or they will lose their enemy and seek peace. Either way, we are not affected by it one iota. Michael Bloomberg is not doing so well in the race to become the Democrat nominee for president of the United States. After running a plethora of ads, he defeated himself by demonizing all farmers and ranchers by saying that it was so simple that anyone could do it. The man could probably not even maintain a flower bed without killing everything.
Everything I touch dies!
If you demonize people or insult their intelligence, they will never vote for you. The DNC proclaims that anyone who disagrees with them are either Nazis or anti-science. Take CW's Supergirl for a moment. The first season's opening had this line.
When I was a child, my planet Krypton was dying. I was sent to Earth to protect my cousin.
In Season 3, a new line was added.
My name is Kara Zor-El. I'm from Krypton. I'm a refugee on this planet. I was sent to Earth to protect my cousin.
This was just before the series decided to depict those who opposed mass immigration as villains that the hero had to fight. In that regard, Bloomberg is the perfect liberal. During the most recent debate, he called out millionaire socialist Bernie Sanders and the evils of communism that would follow. The audience was not a fan of this. Modern Democrats are moving the pendulum so far to the left that I am not sure that they can come back. Amazon is super liberal and will do anything to support its political worldview. They are quietly removing books related to Nazis, 2 of which were written by David Duke. Now, I am no fan of anything related to the Democrat-created KKK, but think about this. If they can take down these books, they can take down others. What if Amazon silently takes down books denouncing communism, or about the history of fascism? Both evil, but the easiest way to ensure that no ideas get out is to keep your opponent from speaking. I have no interest in the books that were pulled, but I would rather be uncomfortable with what someone says than to slowly have the books erased. I may not agree with what you have to say, but I will defend your right to say it. While the Palestinians and other terrorists are busy trying to kill as many Israelis as possible, Israeli scientists are working on saving lives. Dr. Amos Dinelli has developed a saliva test that can sample 1,000 people who may have the coronavirus in 15 minutes. This is in contrast to waiting for symptoms to appear or a blood test that can take hours. Imagine how many people could be saved and returned to their families. Imagine what these scientists could do if their government did not have to devote so many resources to stop consistent bombings of the homeland. Speaking of the terrorists, Palestine is still using child soldiers to accomplish their political goals. Why use children? 1. our forces and those of our allies are less likely to shoot children. 2, we have killed so many of their forces that they are getting desperate. Missile silos are placed near schools and hospitals, and supply bunkers are placed in kindergartens. They dig tunnels that often collapse and are even used as sexual slaves. Yet college professors and activist students believe that Israel is causing the problem. See the link in the description for more information. While we are hearing all about the caravans of migrants that are escaping a terrible life in Mexico and a myriad of Central American countries, we hear almost nothing about those trying to escape Venezuela by the mainstream media. The reason is obvious. They cannot risk anyone knowing that people are so endangered by the breadlines of socialism that people are fighting to escape. The Babylon Bee correctly satirized this by saying that a caravan of liberals was on their way to seek asylum in Venezuela. In all seriousness, the charity Venezuelan Roots is operating within Miami, Florida, trying to help those who fled Venezuela with nothing get basic goods. They have next to nothing because government intervention makes even toilet paper so expensive that people have to resort to eating dogs and rats to survive. Yet Sanders wants socialism, and Bloomberg is booed for denouncing it. Jennifer is a teacher who has been fired for exposing the political agenda of the modern education system. Officially, she misrepresented what the school stood for and the programs at large. According to Jennifer, the SEL program is designed to use language manipulation and role-playing to prepare students. After her termination, she pulled her daughter out of the school because it could no longer be trusted. DeVos has assured us that Common Core is gone, but there's a lot more work to do before we make American schools great again. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion.